Hi, everyone.
Hello, everyone.
I'm Megan.
I'm Dwayne.
And we are the Blended Family Marriage Coaches. That's who we are, and that's what we do. Welcome back if you've been here before, and welcome if you're new here. We so appreciate you. You know, our tagline recently, and actually in the back of my book, the very first thing that you'll see on the back cover of Nana's Pearls, it says, "Marriage is hard. Blended family marriages are harder."
For sure.
That's so true, and we've been
Right.
really concentrating on that over the last couple of weeks. But really, you guys, seriously, there is so much more at stake in a blended family marriage.
I would agree.
And we've noticed through the couples that we counsel and the people that we help that there's one mistake that people make in their blended family marriage that honestly makes the marriage like 20 times harder. So stay tuned and we'll let you know what that is. So for the best advice in your blended family marriage, make sure that you smash that subscribe button down
Right.
below.
Ooh, smash it.
Don't forget to ring the bell
Ding dong.
so that way you're notified every Tuesday when we come out with a new video to help your blended family marriage. And if you like this video, well, like this video. There is so much more at stake in a blended family
Yeah, I
marriage
agree.
than there is in a traditional marriage.
Mhm.
And it all has to do with the past, right? We all have a past, but our past is a little bit more sticky and a little bit more traumatic when you come
Right.
into a blended family, especially for the kids. And that's why there's so much more at stake is what you have to show the kids.
Right.
The example that your marriage has to be to the
Right.
children
Yeah,
in
I
the
agree.
home. The way that you have to model and emulate a healthy marriage to your children so that way they can see that the prior failed marriage is not the right way or the healthy way to have a fruitful and fun marriage, because that's what they see. That's the example that they have to go on is the trauma that they've experienced and the negativity that they've experienced. And let's just be real, they've seen the ugly sides of divorce.
Right.
And kids aren't dumb. And what we need to do, what our responsibility is now as a blended family marriage, is to explain that to our kids that yes, that was a mistake.
Right.
And that's huge, you guys. Own up to what you did to play into your divorce, as well as it's okay for them to know what happened, in kids' terms,
Right.
and without passing blame. They don't need to know the ugly details and the nitty-gritty of he said, she said, but to be able to tell your children that you wished that you could have made things work or that you wished that things were different and to repent of your failed marriage to your children.
Right.
And then the second part of repentance is to turn around and make it right? To turn around and to show them you might not be able to make it right with their other parent, which is okay, but you are going to show them what a healthy marriage is supposed to look like. You are going to be able to reflect to them, this is how people communicate. This is how people get along.
Right.
This is how we run a household. And that is what they will remember because that will be the freshest thing in their mind. They may remember the trauma from the divorce.
Right.
They may experience that time and time again. But what's the freshest thing, what's the newest thing is a happy, healthy marriage.
Right.
So our marriage carries so much more weight than we like to think about with our children
Yeah, I
in
agree.
our second marriage. It's so much more important in a blended family, and there's so much more at stake.
So here's a shocking revelation that maybe some people have never heard of before. Our goal as parents is not to raise good kids. We've all heard of the good kid in the neighborhood, and they don't actually turn out so good. So our goal as parents really is to raise good adults because as a kid they're going to make mistakes, they're going to do stupid things. I mean, we've experienced that in our marriage. So your goal as parents is not to raise good kids. Your goal as parents is to raise good adults, because guess what's going to happen, when they're in their 20s and 30s and everything like that. If you don't raise them to be good adults, then they're going to be bad adults, and those bad habits are going to really transfer onto their kids, so your grandkids. So our goal really is to teach them, help them, and mold them so that when they're adults, they're good adults, they're good parents.
Right. And some things, you guys, that good adults know is things like how to have healthy conflict.
Right.
How to have strong communication.
Oh, conflict.
Right. So often in a blended family marriage, they've seen the bad side of conflict, right? They've seen conflict with no resolution. They've seen huge blow up, end of the world fights where they haven't seen the resolution to that. Mm-hmm. And it's our job in our marriage now to show our kids so that way they can emulate that as good adults. What healthy conflict looks like.
Right.
That it's okay to not always get along, but you always have to come back together at the end of the day or at the end of the issue or at the end of the week or whatever.
Right.
You have to show them that. Another thing that good adults know is how to communicate with one another. Teach your kids how to communicate. You know, there's a famous saying that kids will do what they see and not what they're told.
Right.
So they'll do what they see you doing. They'll be able to have strong communication skills because they witnessed that between their parents, whether that be their step parents or the original parents in their home. They really will be able to emulate that healthy communication style, that healthy conflict style is what they need to see as in a healthy relationship.
Right. So
that's
true.
what good adults know. And the final thing that good adults know that we always teach is that they're not the center of the universe.
They're not.
So often we make our kids the center of the universe, and that brings us to the final thing, and honestly the biggest detriment that we see in blended family marriages. And I say marriages for a reason, because this is not in the dating phase, this is not in the experimental phase, this is not in the we'll see if this is going to work out or where this is going to lead phase. This is in the strong marriage commitment phase.
Right.
Let us know in the comments, what do you guys think that good adults know that it's our priority in our marriage to teach our kids? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think so.
So let us know in the comments, what do you hope that your kids emulate, that they're going to be able to see in your marriage when they're adults? They're going to spend a whole lot more time as adults than they are as kids.
Right.
It's okay to have kids that mess up. It's okay to have kids that do stupid things. We try so hard to put our kids on this huge pedestal. We want them to win first place. We want to give them the best prize. They want every award possible. Right. But the truth is, you guys, that's not our end goal. That's not our end goal for our kids, nor should it be. Our end goal for our kids is to raise healthy, happy, strong contributors to society as adults.
Right.
So I sort of alluded to it earlier. The one thing that we see time and time and time again, the issue that we see in blended family marriages, that we teach on, that we coach on, that we help parents grasp this idea, that their kids are not the center of their universe.
Oh, that's so true.
That shouldn't be the priority in the home. Kids should never be the priority in the home. The main relationship, the highest priority relationship in the home, we believe, is that the individual relationship that everybody has with Jesus Christ. The second relationship, the second highest priority relationship in the home is the marriage. And that's so hard for some people to grasp, because truly, you don't love anybody like you love your children. Let's just go there.
Right.
You don't. There is no stronger bond. Honestly, that relationship, that protectiveness, that fierceness, that love of something that you created. And as women, we grew in our body. And as men, you watched their lives just mold and come to fruition through childbirth and all of those things that you don't get to experience with your spouse. That creates a unique bond for sure. And I'm not trying to make that smaller than what it is.
Right.
I'm not trying to belittle it.
Please hear us when we say that the marriage is the most important relationship. But please also don't read into that we think that you should just ignore your children.
We're not telling you to neglect your children.
There are definitely times when the child has to be, when they're sick, when there's something going on, yes. But it seems so often what we see is that the marriage relationship revolves around the sporting activities and whatever's going on in the children's lives. So that becomes the priority, and then you ignore the marriage, and then the kids grow up, they graduate high school, and you look over at your spouse and you're like, who are you? Like, I don't know you. So that's what we're talking about. The marriage has to be the most important relationship. You have to spend time growing the marriage. You have to spend time maintaining the marriage and everything. So, there are times when when our kids were in high school, that we missed sporting events. It's not the end of the world. Oh my goodness. They're not going to look at us, 20 years down the road and think, well, when I was 14 years old, you missed my football game.
And we didn't miss them all. Not by any means. We attended more than we missed, for sure.
Right.
But the thing is that we knew that our marriage had to be put on the top priority.
Right.
We needed to connect once a week. And with the sporting events and the church events and the everything like that, we had to take one night a week for us.
Right.
And we did that religiously. We did that consistently.
Yes.
And we believe that set a foundation for
Right.
our kids to know what the priorities are in
Right.
their marriage relationships, in their future. That no, Megan and Dwayne, because we're either mom and Dwayne or Dwayne and mom, or mom and Dwayne or Dwayne and Megan. We're never mom and dad
Right.
to any of our kids, which is okay. That's the way our blended family works.
Right.
But Megan and Dwayne always took a date night. They always
Right.
made sure that their marriage was priority. You guys, I know that there's times when balance is weird. I know that there's times when sickness is a thing and you need to seriously refocus.
Right.
There might be projects, there might be business endeavors, there might be something where the marriage is not number one in your world
Right.
for a season. And that's okay. Embrace that season, communicate through that season. And I encourage you during that time to seek peace, not balance.
Right.
Because a lot of times people are like, well, I need to find a healthy balance between this or that, or between, how I feel about this or my time spent here or whatever. And balance is not a thing. That's like chasing something that you're never going to attain, because things are always going to be out of balance. And when things are out of balance, I always encourage you, number one, default to the marriage. If the marriage is suffering, that's where all the effort needs to go for a season.
Right.
And number two, seek peace over balance. If your marriage isn't suffering, it's just a little bit uncomfortable right now, or if the relationship with the kids or the time spent with the kids isn't suffering, it's just a little unbalanced right now, seek peace then. That's when you need to seek a peace about the season that you're in,
Right.
and then try to move forward. So remember, the marriage is the number one priority in the home. Again, I have to put this disclaimer, aside from the relationship with Christ, there is no other relationship that you're in that you made a vow, you made a covenant
Right.
before your family and friends and God that said that this relationship is till death do us part.
Right.
This relationship is through sickness and health. This relationship is through richer and poorer. There's no other relationship in your life that demands that kind of verbal commitment, that kind of signature on all of the marriage documents. There's a reason for
Right.
that. Because in the natural home, in a godly home, in a Christian home, and in a healthy home, the marriage is the number one priority.
Right.
And that is so refreshing for parents to be able to show their kids, I'm sorry, dear, you're cute. I love you. You are the best thing that has seriously ever happened to me. Becoming a mom was incredible to me, and being a stepmom is a major honor. However, I am more committed to my husband.
Right.
My relationship with my husband is more important. And again, we have to say that does not mean neglect your children.
Right.
That doesn't mean neglect the time that you get with your children in a blended family, with every other weekend custody visitation schedules, or maybe just school breaks. Spend that time with your kids.
Right.
There's a balance there, right? That's what we're talking about. Sometimes that balance is going to be a little bit off. That's okay. But always know that the number one priority is your spouse. That's so important to be able to reflect that to your kids. So that way you can raise happy, healthy adults as
Right.
opposed to good kids.
Right.
So we get this question all the time. In a blended family home, what's the top priority? The marriage.
The marriage.
We get that question. We see it all over social media. And here it is. We're answering why. We see it all the time in our couples that we counsel. They always talk about how it's hard. They don't have time. They're too tired. They're this, they're that, in order to work on their marriage. Well, honestly, that's a huge red flag
Right.
of to where the priorities lie. What are the priorities in your relationship? What are the priorities in your marriage? And I always ask, how long has this been going on? Because if it's been going on for a couple of weeks, okay, this is an uncomfortable season.
Right.
We can work through this. But in reality, if it's been going on long enough that it's causing some severe issues, we have an issue of where the priority of the marriage lies.
Right.
we love to bring this kind of enrichment and priority into
Right.
the blended family marriage for the couples that we work with. If you guys are interested in more information in our enrichment program or anything that we do in order to work with us to bring more fulfilling enrichment to your marriage, please click the link below.
Mhm.
We would love to connect with you. We'd love to talk to you about our enrichment program,
Right.
about the different coachings and programs that we do, and see if you're a good fit for us as well as if we're a good fit for you.
Right.
If you want to see more videos about your blended family marriage and how to make that a priority, don't forget to subscribe. Hit that subscribe button below. It would mean a lot to us. Don't forget to ring the bell
Ding dong.
so that way you're notified every time we come out with a new video. And comment below.
Right.
Let us know what you think about this. Is there a balance in your home where the marriage is the top priority, or are you maybe going through a season where you're just kind of trying to find peace? Or are you needing to make that marriage the priority? Do you need to be able to do that in order to reflect to your children how to be good adults as opposed to trying to make good kids?
Right.
Thank you guys so much for watching. We love you. We appreciate you. We'll see you next week. Bye.
See you, everyone.
Why can't I get that stuff?